because you remind me of you. And in that answer, which I've talked about elsewhere, there's a sense in which you're saying to the person, well, all of your characteristics, all of your physicality, all of those elements of your personality that are there remind me of a part of you that cannot be touched by that. There's something about there, you're not one with yourself. You remind me of you, which is you're not self-identical with yourself. And there's that dimension that dimension that is in excess of your various identities that draws me and that holds me. And that's what I mean by providing a harbour for the other's lack, a harbour for that excess, that part of the other that is not reducible to identity. And one way of thinking about this is in philosophy, the difference between capital B, being, and small b, beings. So being and beings. And what that means is we're surrounded by beings, right? Everything that you see around me is a thing, right? They exist. Also, I could say that thoughts exist. Numbers, I could say, exist. Shapes exist, right? And they exist in a different way from the objects that are behind me. So there are all these beings, and you go, what do they share in common? Well, at first you can take these things behind me. You go, okay, a lot of these things are made of wood or paper. So trees is what unifies them. But then, of course, there's a mirror, and that's different. That's, sand or whatever. And then you can say, well, they're all physical things. But then you go, well, an idea isn't a physical thing. And what happens is you kind of go, okay, so what do all beings have in common? And you can answer that they have in common being. Right? Being, existence. Then you go, okay, let's find that. So let's strip away everything about objects until we get to just being. Being is the fundamental thing that everything shares, right? But you strip it all away and it's like an onion, you've got nothing left. So beingness is in everything, but it's not a thing, right? It's what everything has in common. It's what exceeds the beings, but it's not a thing as such. In a similar way, you can say the subject is that which exceeds your identity, that which is not reducible to your identity. But it doesn't mean you strip it all away and you get to your super identity, right? And that's what I was meaning by, in the contemporary world, people talk about getting to their authentic being, their real self. You can find this true identity. Behind the mask, there is a real you. Rather than potentially the idea that you are being born again and recreated every time you meet new people, that as you interact with different things, you are changing and transforming. And it's difficult because when you meet someone, say, and you fall in love, you often feel that they see in you something that no one else has seen. And even that they have brought out something in you that no one else brought out. An interest in film, an interest in nature or something like that was hidden away. When really often it's not that they revealed that, but that they gifted you that through their desire for something, you start to desire it. And you find that instead of them hitting some deep, authentic dimension of you, they are recreating you, which I think is a beautiful thing. But that notion of subject, and this is in philosophy. So in philosophy, the word subject is very important. And Todd McGowan, again, looks at this brilliantly and traces it, from Descartes, really through Kant, into Hegel, and then, Freud and Lacan. What does the word subject mean in philosophy? Well, it's very, very key. Subject means the non-oneness of a person with themselves, right? Subjectivity, to be a subject, means you're not one, you're not two, you're not even multiple, but you're not one. You're a one who is not one with itself. And we're going to peel back what that means. But